What's up, NBA fans? Welcome into NBA Now by Chat Sports. I am Nic Rohloff. Happy Thursday afternoon, everybody, and it has not been a quiet afternoon in the NBA. We have got a lot of news and rumors to discuss. J.J. Redick hired as the Los Angeles Lakers' next head coach. The 76ers reportedly not going to pursue Paul Goerge in free agency. Plus, the draft is less than a week away, and we have to talk some big board and mock draft as well. But let's get the party started by the comment section because it needs to be flooded. Shout out your city for me down in the comment section. Let me know where you are watching from. All the real ones tuning in from across the globe. Richard is fired up about his Chicago Bulls. What's up to you, Richard? Hopefully you're having a good day. Christopher Flores watching in California. Richard's in Illinois. Jesse is in New Orleans. Raphael is in Miami. Brian Cruz is in Florida as well. Jesse still watching from New Orleans. Brozo from North Carolina. Continue to shout out your city for me down in the comment section. I like Turtles is saying currently in Des Moines, Iowa. I like Turtles. Good to see you again, my friend. Anthony Riggs is in Columbus, Ohio. Sixers are going to be quiet good. From Bruce. Quiet good. Okay. Rumple's in Big Stepper in Youngstown. Okay. All right, this is a good question, though. As J.J. Redick did sign a 4-year deal to be the next Lakers head coach, and I want to ask you, will J.J. Redick work out as the next Los Angeles Lakers head coach? Y for yes, N for no. I don't know. It's just such a weird dynamic. Like, he was born the same year as LeBron. They're doing a podcast together, and now he's his head coach. Like, how does that work? But allegedly, the mouthpiece that Shams Charania is tried telling everyone that they believe he could be the next Eric Spoelstra and Greg Popovich. Just wild names to throw around there from the Lakers brass and Shams Charania. Seeps, do you think it's going to work out?
I think it's one of those things where it's like, if you want to take an optimistic view on it, you can convince yourself that it will, and then if you want to be pessimistic about it, like, you can find a plethora of reasons to, make a point why it won't work out. If I had to make my best guess, I'm gonna say no. I just think there's just too much drama around there, and clearly they struck out on their number one choice, but I thought it was so interesting. They offered Dan Hurley around $11 million a year, still gave J.J. Redick $8 million. So about $3 million difference is how they viewed it in their eyes.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I think all reports are with the Dan Hurley stuff is like if they offered him like 15, 20 mil, like he might have won.
They offered the same deal as Kentucky necessarily, for him to go there. I just the best reaction to this, I just think it's hilarious. It is hilarious.
It's gonna be peak comedy. Like seeing those two try to interact. Like, listen, I think they're gonna give J.J. Redick the respect that some young coaches might not receive because Redick is obviously an established veteran. He is obviously one of the best basketball minds there is. But it's just like, it is an odd dynamic when you literally started a podcast with this dude and now he's your head coach in the NBA.
No, definitely. So if I had to ask you, over under, it's a 4-year deal, 2.5 years for JJ.
I think I'll take the over.
Take the over, okay.
Because I think there's a legitimate chance that LeBron could be done within the next 2 seasons, and unless things go unbelievably wrong.
Yeah.
Which I have a hard time believing J.J. Redick's going to, tank the Lakers. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think he's going to be worse than Darvin Ham, if you will. So as long as he doesn't be worse than Darvin Ham, there's no way he doesn't last at least 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah, I like that comparison from I Like Turtles in the chat, saying this is like making Dan Orlovsky an NFL coach. It's similar, man.
I will say this. I think it's a little different between the NFL and NBA because in the NFL, you have to command 53 dudes on the roster. NBA, it's only 12 or 15, and realistically, you only got to get the best out of 7 or 8 of them.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's a little different, but I also do sneaky think if we are comparing it to the NFL, I think Orlovsky can be a good coach.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. It's just an interesting move by the Lake Show.
Yeah. Sean Wall says, let's face it, LeBron is the head coach. And he's the GM. He does it all over there. The GM, the head coach, whatever you want to say. My favorite bit on Twitter, if you're asking me. All right, the NBA draft is in 5 days. Let's think here. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So 5 full days, and then Wednesday's the 6th day. So we're basically right there, 6 days away. If you're excited for the NBA draft, type me in the chat. I'm fired up. I'm excited to talk some draft live with all of y'all as well. We're going to have a mock draft later on in the show. We're going to have my big board on the show as well. If you are excited for the NBA draft, let me know by typing your me's. Give me what? I changed a couple around. I think the one that's updated today is the final one because I took out Izan Almansa and I kind of moved someone up in the late second round and then replaced him at like 68. So yeah, I'm actually gonna finish out the scouting stuff all tonight. So everything will be done. Will do. All right, I just had to talk with our lead producer there, Sam Brown, as we're getting some NBA draft content prepared for next week because we are going to be live for the NBA draft, by the way. But Raphael's ready, Richard's ready, Christopher's ready. John says Bronny sucks. I will say this: I don't think he should be in the NBA draft. I thought he should have went back to college. You've got to be fucking shitting me. Breaking news! Breaking news! This is unbelievable! This is absolutely unbelievable! The Chicago Bulls have traded Alex Caruso to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Josh Giddey! What are we doing? This is unbelievable! Oh, Josh Giddey is a Chicago Bull! Holy shit! Holy shit! Oh my god! You would have to assume that a pick is also going to Chicago. Wait. What if it's Giddey in 12? What if it's Giddey in 12? What if it's Giddey in 12? We got Tyler Jones here, NFL Now host. This is unbelievable. I can't believe it. And you know, we were talking about the NBA draft here a second ago. You want to know what the next question coming up in our show is going to be? Smitty, push it. Who will be the best player trade this offseason? Well, Alex Caruso might not be the best player trade this offseason, but this is a massive trade. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I don't know. Hold on. Okay, do an L3. This is absolutely unbelievable, folks. It's going to take us here to get a little situated as Alex Caruso has just been traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder in exchange for Josh Giddey. Now, we'll see if anything else is going back to Chicago. I'd have to imagine a first-round pick as well. At bare minimum, a second-round pick. So, to me, this easily could be the 12th pick and Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso. Absolutely could be that. Question is, should I change the... No, we're going to let this ride. I was thinking about changing the live title. Oh, man. I can't believe it. Who is stunned? Who is stunned? Oh, I'm going to make a weigh-in here. Let's get a one-word reaction to the trade. One second. All right, Smitty should be at the bottom of the weigh-ins. One-word reaction. You see at the bottom of your screen, the Thunder have traded Josh Giddey to the Chicago Bulls for Alex Caruso. I want you to let me know your one-word reaction to the Caruso trade. A very busy day in the NBA. JJ Redick named head coach of the Lakers. A blockbuster trade. I wouldn't say blockbuster, but it's a pretty big trade in the NBA landscape. And then we also have the news and rumors that the 76ers aren't going to try to pursue Paul George in free agency. It's just a stunning day in the association. It ended the regular postseason 4 days ago, 3 days ago, whatever it is, and things are already getting off to a hot start. Raphael says, wow. Well, I'll tell you a second. Rar says, eh. Raphael shocked. Perfect from Brozo. Shocked, disbelief, replaceable, perfect, nice, overpay. I'm very curious to see what the draft capital is here I cannot imagine that the Bulls traded for Josh Giddey or trade Caruso for Giddey without getting a pick. I can't imagine that. So what I think all we need, because I'm not really going to change the first segment because it's news and rumors, but we are talking about the Bulls and Zach LaVine. So I think all we'll need is just the social, honestly. Yeah. Yeah. So no, all we need is the social. I'm gonna put it. I just put it in the script. Um, yeah, because we're not gonna really dive too far in depth on the trade, but we'll talk about it now, and then when you move it over, we'll flash it on screen before we continue throughout here. Let's see. Woj just had a tweet here. The Bulls have been determined to find a playmaker to replace Lonzo Ball, and Giddey, 21, comes with an all-star potential. Not true. That would unlikely be realized with the Thunder because the playmaking star power who surrounded him. The Bulls will offer him an opportunity to have the ball in his hands and so much more freedoms to pass and score. I really like this trade for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm skeptical from the Bulls' perspective unless they get a first-round pick. And maybe they get the 12th pick back. Maybe they do. This is a stunner, though, I'll tell you what. Yeah, you just gotta do you can just get the breaking one. Stunner. The Shams one that's already in there, keeping it, too. Continue to let me know your one-word reaction as we get some graphics behind the scenes stuff organized here. I put it just after. Hold on, where I am is where it'll go. Yeah. I wonder if any draft capital is going to Chicago. I feel like it has to be, right? Corey's stunned. I like Turtle says I like it for the Bulls. I actually like it for the Thunder much more. I like it for the Thunder a lot more because they needed some wing help, and we saw it. They just didn't have enough against the Dallas Mavericks. And I think that they needed more of a offensive guy. Caruso isn't that. I wonder if they end up moving Lou Dort, and they just have Caruso replace Dort, because that could be intriguing. But I would be also fascinated by a lineup of SGA, Caruso, Lou Dort, Jalen Williams, and then Chet Holmgren. Like that's an intriguing one as well. Oh man, I'm continuing to look to see if there's any update into the trade, but it doesn't look like there is any right now. We'll see here. I'm just seeing Giddey for Caruso. No way it's a straight up. No way it's a straight up. I just refuse to believe that. Yeah. So we'll just talk about the trade here in the thing. This is the breaking news here. The Chicago Bulls traded two-time all-defensive guard Alex Caruso to the Oklahoma City Thunder for guard Josh Giddey. Giddey's a fascinating player, man. Let me pull up his stats. He obviously had the off-court issues last year due to his well, I'm not going to really get into it. We're just going to strictly talk onto the court right now. But he averaged 12 points a game last year, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. The issue with Josh Giddey is his inability to really knock down the three ball, right? He shot 26% as a rookie, 32% as the second-year man, and then 33% this past year, all 3 attempts a game. So Josh Giddey is not the best in terms of spacing, but what Giddey does provide is elite playmaking, right? He's averaged as a really forward who hasn't had the ball in his hands like that crazy. He's averaged 6 assists, 5 assists. Like, he has been really good in terms of playmaking. And that is the goal for Chicago, is that they're going to give him the ball and let him do most of that playmaking in Chicago. They obviously have Ayo DeSumo. They have Kobe White. So they're going to play those two off ball unless they move off of them. So I don't expect that to happen, though. And then from the Oklahoma City Thunder side, Alex Caruso, who is a top 5 point of attack defender in the entire NBA. Like, not the most offensively inclined player, but he can knock down the 3 ball at a pretty effective rate. Shot 41% from 3 a year ago on 4.7 attempts. That is also the highest that he's ever taken in terms of volume, and matched it with good efficiency. One of the better defensive players in the league, as we mentioned. He can rim run. He can do really good in that department. I love this move for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I absolutely love it. I'm skeptical from the Bulls' perspective because I'm not the highest on Josh Giddey. I was a year ago, but after watching him this year, maybe it's just because his role take a little step back. Maybe it's that. But last year when Giddey averaged 16 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists, I was all in on him. But it got a crowded room in OKC, and maybe it got passed up. Before we get into our first segment on the show, though, hit that thumbs up icon. 165 people watching, only 27 likes. Come on, if you want us to get into more NBA action here with the live show, hit that thumbs up icon. Let's get to 80 likes. Yes. Let's get to 80 likes. Let's get to 80 likes, and then we can start our show because we got a fun show to get into. And if you want more on this trade, our Bulls host, Patrick Seatman, is he going live? Do you know? Don't know. Just curious. Our Bulls host, Patrick Seatman, who actually was producing the start of this show, had to hop off, obviously, and then go get this content done. But hit that thumbs up. Let's get to 80 likes. We have 180 people watching now with 45 likes. We need to get 35 more until we can start. The first segment that we're going to do is the latest trade news and rumors of Zach LaVine, Paul Goerge, a draft rumor that is kind of crazy in terms of that. And then we'll also talk a little bit about the Giddey and trade with the Chicago Bulls as well. Diago, any Magic news? We do have something cooking up with Orlando in terms of Zach LaVine and Paul Goerge coming up in just a second, which we want to get to, but I need 30 more likes. 30 likes, guys. Come on. 30 more likes.
Frauds.
We need to get to 80 likes.
Don't be bums.
We need to get 80 likes. Hold on, more news from Woj here. Caruso is entering the final year of his deal and becomes eligible for a 4-year, $80 million extension. 6 months from now, the Thunder made this trade with the hope to have Caruso as an integral player for the long term. You don't have to make that. Yeah. I'm waiting for more information to come on this tweet or on this trade because I do believe that I maybe I'm wrong. Like, did I miss value here? I feel like Caruso is worth something more than Josh Giddey. What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the chat. Is Caruso worth more than just Josh Giddey? Let me know. We're also 19 likes away. If you haven't hit that thumbs up icon, I don't know what you're doing. I want to talk more NBA basketball with y'all, but we got to get to 19 more likes. We have to get to 80. We have to get to 80. Anthony says fair. Listen, Caruso and Giddey probably, they're saying, you guys are saying it's perfect just straight up. All right. Maybe I'm misvaluing Alex Caruso. Maybe I'm misvaluing Caruso, man. We're 16 likes away. Come on, hit that thumbs up icon. I also think he's worth, I do think Caruso's worth more than Giddey. Maybe not 12, maybe that was aggressive, but Josh Giddey in a second for Caruso, maybe. I like the trade for OKC if they add a second-round pick or they don't. Sam Presti has 1 million picks in the second and first round. He's not stingy enough. I actually do like this trade for, on a personal level, Josh Giddey. Like, I think it's a good move for Giddey to get there into Chicago because he'll have more freedom. But in terms of the Bulls side of it, I don't understand. I don't know. Come on, we're 12 likes away. Hit that thumbs up icon so we can get today's show started. We're not starting until 80 likes. We did get a $2 super chat from I Like Turtles. I like turtles. Michael Porter Jr. needs to be traded. Who we getting? Nuggets. So you want Michael Porter Jr. traded from the Denver Nuggets. That one doesn't make sense to me. I think MPJ fits y'all really good. What's the issue with Michael Porter Jr.? Is he the best third option in the world? No, but keep him to be your fourth guy. You're going to lose KCP. Why are you trying to trade MPJ? Why are you trying to trade MPJ? I don't get that. What up, Knicks Galaxy? What up, Bryce? I mean, he's never been a good defender. So, I mean, but he helped y'all win a championship. Tiago says, hit the like button, please. I want to hear the Magic rumors. Hey, that's, we're 5 likes away. We're 5 likes away. We're 5 likes away from getting the show started. We have a List 3 logo, if you want to just show that real quick, of what is on our show today. We got the latest news and rumors in the NBA. Josh Giddey getting traded to the Bulls for Alex Caruso. Zach LaVine rumors. The Bulls might not be done in that department. We also have Paul Goerge stuff and where he could go, what his market's looking like. And then we're also going to talk a lot about the draft as we're 6 days away from that. 2-round NBA mock draft, and then the final NBA big board as we are about 5 days away from the draft. We finally crossed 80 likes. Let's get it. 86 to be exact. 180 people watching. We picked a good day and good time to go live on the channel, that's for sure. So let's do it, folks. Let's get into the latest news and rumors around the NBA. Massive day inside the NBA, and we have a loaded show here at NBA Now. Chicago Bulls, they already made one deal today with Alex Caruso heading to the Thunder for Josh Giddey. We'll touch on that more in depth, but also Zach LaVine as he is being shopped around the NBA. Paul George, does he have no market in NBA free agency? And then the closeout today's show, is a major NBA draft trade in the top 10 going to happen between the Rockets and Memphis Grizzlies? We'll talk all about that in just a second. But make sure you are subscribed. And here are some reasons why you should subscribe to the channel. Weekly NBA videos, multiple, 3+ really. Anything that you need around the NBA, we'll have it covered here. We're going to be live for the NBA draft on Wednesday and Thursday, both rounds, and we'll be live for the first 2 to 4 days of NBA free agency as well as it gets kicked off the following Sunday on the 30th. Hit that sub button and join the channel. All right, let's talk about the Bulls and Zach LaVine now, because the report out there is that the Bulls have floated out 15 different trade proposals to teams around the NBA regarding Zach LaVine. LaVine, who has been one of the most talented scorers in the NBA, is likely out of his way and out of Chicago. Now, didn't really expect this to happen this quickly, but we did get a breaking news story today in the form of Adrian Wojnarowski reporting that the Chicago Bulls have traded 2-time All-Defensive guard Alex Caruso to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Josh Giddey. We're going to tailor this conversation around the Bulls for today's show, but on a quick little note here, I love this move for the Thunder. Caruso fits perfectly and is an excellent defender to connect between Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, and SGA. Now, on the Chicago side of things, Woj also had this note that the Bulls have been determined to find a playmaker to replace Lonzo Ball. Lonzo said he's going to be able to return for this upcoming season, but maybe he gets dealt as well. And then Giddey comes with an all-star potential that would unlikely be realized with the Thunder because of the playmaking star power who already surround him. The Bulls will offer him an opportunity to have the ball in his hands and so much more freedom to pass and score. So it feels like the Chicago Bulls are going to go in a completely different direction. They move off Zach LaVine, they're hoping to, which we'll talk about here in a second. They get rid of Caruso. Maybe they get off Lonzo. Does DeRozan not come back? Maybe the Bulls completely go to a rebuild. But let's get back and tailor this conversation to Zach LaVine, because Casey Johnson had a report today that said Zach LaVine's future isn't the only trade scenario that has been discussed. Even if sources said AK, the GM of the Bulls, has floated out as many as 15 proposals centered around the 2-time All-Star guard to various teams, including the Sacramento Kings, Orlando Magic, and Philadelphia 76ers. So one thing is abundantly clear when it comes to the Chicago Bulls. They want to get rid of Zach LaVine. And that makes a lot of sense, right? It really isn't fitting the timeline in Chicago. He's getting paid a boatload of money, and he might have one of the worst, if not the worst, contract in the entire NBA. I mean, you're paying this dude $43, $45.9, and $48.9 million over the next 3 seasons. This contract is not good, and I don't think any really team is going to look at this contract and think, well, this is the one we want to take on. So when Chicago moves Zach LaVine, they're likely going to have to attach a pick to it because of how bad the contract is. So that's really the question for LaVine, who has battled injuries through the past 4 seasons and used to be one of the top scorers in the entire NBA. I mean, just 3 or 4 seasons ago, before Lonzo Ball got hurt with that knee injury, the Bulls were the top seed in the East through half the season, and LaVine was averaging 27.4 points per game while shooting 50% from the field. Ever since then, it's been a slow decline for LaVine, who had a torn ACL back when he was with the Timberwolves and then missed almost basically the entire 23-24 season with a foot injury, only played in 25 games, and even in those 25 games he played in, LaVine still really struggled, only shooting 45% from the field and 35% from 3, which clearly is the worst season out of his last 4. And I want to bring it back to the reported teams that have interest in Zach LaVine, or at least the Bulls have tried to contact them for a trade. The Magic, the Kings, and the 76ers. Now, when you think of which team possibly fits Zach LaVine the best, I would probably go with Orlando or Philly. Orlando desperately needs some backcourt scoring and facilitating, playmaking, whatever you want to call it, to help out Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. That duo in the front court for Orlando showed a lot of nice things in the postseason as well as the regular season. It just wasn't enough to beat the Cavs in the first round of the playoffs because their backcourt just wasn't consistent enough. I don't hate taking the flyer on Zach LaVine if you're Orlando because you need the scoring, and what's the worst that can happen? You waste a year, you get Paolo and Franz continuing to improve, and then you move off that contract as it gets closer to an expiring. Like, I think Orlando would be a top option here. Philly's intriguing too because they have a lot of cap space and they can take him in. I'm just wary of the fit with him and Tyrese Maxey in that backcourt. Let me know, though, what team should trade for Zach LaVine? Which is the best fit? Who needs him the most? Give me a team down below in the comments section. All right, let's shift the conversation to Paul George, because is there no market for the former All-NBA guard/forward who could become a free agent if he opts out of his player option with the Clippers? Well, Brian Windhorst had this note earlier today. Said the Clippers could sign Paul George right now, this afternoon. But the fact that they are not, seemingly reacting to what his market clearly is something to pay attention to. And I get both sides of the coin in terms of the Paul George situation. If you're Los Angeles, do you move on from him? Do you not? Do you pay him that extension he wants? Like, I'm a PG guy. I like his game. The playoff things are, it's a concern. But man, do I think it would make sense for the Clippers to bring him back, and for Brian Windhorst to make the note that he would expect there not to be as much interest as the fans and media might think. Like, I don't get that, because I think there's a lot that he can bring to the table for a contending team already, but there has been remarks from Paul George that suggest he might not want to be in a winning situation and just wants to hoop on a big contract. He's also already 34 years old, so he can't sign an extension that's longer than 3 years. Why? Well, because the new CBA, you can't sign a max extension that would take you past your 37-year-old season. Same reason Jimmy Butler could only sign a 2-year extension in Miami, because he's already 35. So he is a little bit older, not as young as many people might believe, and it might be some of the reasons why Paul George isn't maybe getting the interest that we would think on the open market, according to Windhorst. Continuing the conversation on Paul George in a second, but the NBA draft is less than a week away, and get your draft hats on sale right now. Chatsports.com/draft hats is the best way to go get them. Curved, flap rim, snapback. They have all different styles and all 30 NBA teams. We're just showcasing the Warriors and Heat ones on the show today, but they have all 30 teams and all different types of styles. So get yours today. Chatsports.com/draft hats. Links in the description and comments. I still think there is going to be a market for Paul George. To me, he's just too good on both ends of the floor for teams not to be interested. And how big is the contract going to be? Could you get him for $48, $50 million? Maybe you think that's too much, but if you're on the precipice of becoming a championship team, why wouldn't Paul George be someone you added? Now, I will say this. I had these three teams as some clubs that should have interest in Paul George, even if he opts out of free agency. I have the 76ers, the Magic, and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, ironically enough, you're watching this video after a couple things came out here. One, the Thunder trade for Alex Caruso, and they're likely not going to be able to acquire Paul George in a sign-and trade or in free agency due to everybody they have to pay. Orlando, the same reasons why Zach LaVine could be an option as Paul George. You get him there as a second or third option, ball handler, defender in the backcourt. That's a really good three that you have there in Paolo, Franz, and Paul George. And the 76ers, who made the most sense out of any team, but then it kind of got shut down. Like Shams Charania had this note right before we went live on NBA Now, which is why you should subscribe to the channel because we're going live on the show breaking down the NBA news and rumors. But Shams said the 76ers' interest in Paul George has significantly waned in recent days, and the franchise expects to be aggressive elsewhere with its salary cap flexibility and draft capital leading into next week's NBA draft. So they're pivoting. They're going elsewhere. They're not going to try to go after Paul George if we take this report at face value, which knocks down a suitor from PG-13, which either means he's going to sign for a lot more cheaper with the Los Angeles Clippers. Maybe he'll just opt into his contract, or maybe the Magic have a better chance at landing a big-time backcourt piece to help their young front court out. Prediction time, though. Will Paul George stay with the Los Angeles Clippers? If you think he's staying in LAC, type S for stay or type L for leave if you believe he's going to opt out and test free agency. All right, let's close out today's show with some NBA draft talk. Is there an NBA trade that would shake up the entire draft, potentially going down over the next couple of days? Well, there are rumors out there that the Grizzlies could move up to the number 3 overall pick, which is currently owned by the Houston Rockets. And why would they do that, you ask? Well, the reports out there are that the Memphis Grizzlies absolutely love Donovan Clingan, the center from UConn. And they want to pair him up with Jaren Jackson Jr. to move Triple J to the 4 and have a rim-protecting center like Clingan at the 5. Maybe that wouldn't be where they start him, and maybe his NBA career begins off the bench in 15 to 20 minutes, but at least long-term, having Clingan and Triple J as their front court. But the rumor started from the Houston Rockets here, and Kelly Iko, who covers Houston, reported that both general manager Raphael Stone and head coach Ime Udoka are fans of veteran guard Marcus Smart. League sources said. Is there a possibility Memphis could entice Houston by offering Smart, in addition to the number 9 overall pick and future assets, to move up and grab Clingan if he isn't already gone? Tennessee's Dalton Knecht, who has fans within the Rockets organization, could be available if Houston were to move back. And when you think about the trade that was floated out there, I actually think it makes sense for both sides. Memphis, who desperately wants to add Clingan to this roster to help out Jaren Jackson Jr., moves up 6 spots to grab him from 9 to 3. And from the Rockets' perspective, if you're not sold on anyone with the 3rd overall pick, you get a veteran guard that can help you try to make the playoffs this upcoming season in Marcus Smart. He could also help mentor Amen Thompson, Jalen Green, help them grow and get better defensively. Ime Udoka and Smart worked together in Boston when Udoka was the head coach there, so it makes sense for that to fit. And then Houston would also be able to get a solid prospect with the 9th pick, whether it be Dalton Knecht, whether it be a Rob Dillingham, whether it be a Ron Holland. Like, there's a lot of different avenues Houston could go here. And if I'm going to be honest, if the Rockets get offered Smart in the 9th pick for number 3, I'd probably take it, because if Houston kept their pick and drafted at 3rd overall, I would be willing to bet it's like a Reed Shepherd or a Matas Buzelis type. And I like those two guys, but Marcus Smart can help you more now, and you still get to draft a good young player in the top 10 with the 9th overall pick. That's going to do it for today's video, but make sure you are subscribed. And we told you the 4 reasons why off the top of the show. I'm not going to waver off these 4 reasons. We're live for the draft, we're live for free agency, and we have videos on a weekly basis. Hit that sub button and join us here at Chat Sports for the best content on YouTube surrounding the NBA. I'll see you with a video tomorrow. Peace out. All right. Craziness in the NBA today. No. I'm just going to push that out after. Oh, man. Hardy says, any Warriors rumors? No, but we are doing a mock draft, which will feature a pick from the Golden State Warriors in the second round. So that. I Like Turtle says, I thought it was over a little. Just the end of that segment. So then I got to give a little behind the scenes here action here. Give a little pause, and so we can cut it up and get it out on the channel. A lot of people said leave. Caden says leave. Productions leave. John Edward Kruger, Matthew Barave, Sean Fuller, Keyshawn, Emak, Diogo. I Like Turtles, Noah Turner. Everybody thinking that Paul George is going to leave the Clippers. Where y'all think he's going to go then? If he leaves LA, where is he going to end up? Where is he going to end up? Diago, also, you asked for Magic rumors. Did those suffice? We talked about the Magic twice. Did those suffice? I Like Turtle says the Knicks. Be fascinating. Be a fascinating fit. I think him and Brunson would work. I got to be honest, though. As much as I'm a Paul George truther and I want him to succeed, I think he could absolutely crumble in the New York media. Just like absolutely meltdown. Like he would just disappear in big games. Noah Turner says PG-13 to the Heat. Listen, some people know this. I am a Heat fan. I'd love Paul George in Miami as the third option. Now, the Heat would get hard capped if they do that sign and trade move, so it's unlikely Miami does that, but I'd be fascinated to see how that fit happens. Nicole Ferguson says Lakers. Hardy Mack says to the Warriors. They also can't really do that financially. A lot of money for the Warriors are getting doled out here. A lot of money. Akram says go Warriors. A couple Warriors fans in the building. Same thing with Caden. All right. We're going to get into our next segment here. Take a deep breath. What is this next segment, you ask? I got my mock draft 6.0, the sixth mock draft for the NBA draft from your boy, yours truly. And this is the first one that is 2 rounds. Yes, we're making all 58 selections in this draft. Every single team that has a draft pick is going to be talked about in this video, at least at some capacity. So let's do it. And here is an interesting update on the Caruso trade. The Thunder did not attach any picks. So it's just a straight-up Giddey for Caruso. Giddey for Caruso, that's the trade. 1-for-1 player. I got to be honest, I'm a little stunned. I thought that Caruso would be netting a second-round pick as well, but evidently not the case. Evidently not the case. Man, I guess the Bulls really coveted and valued Josh Giddey. ACB says great trade for both sides. Before we get in the mock draft, I'll talk about the trade once again because it is just Alex Caruso to the Thunder for Josh Giddey.
I've been seeing people in the comment section saying Giddey may not even be in the league for very long. Do you think that what do you think the outcome is for the Bulls here?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, I love this trade for the Bulls. Or, excuse me, the Thunder. Scratch that. The Thunder, who are getting Alex Caruso. Now, many speculated, me truly, that the Thunder were going to attach a lot of first-round picks and Josh Giddey to get like an all-star, all-NBA guy, but they go to just try to find a good role player. Maybe they believe they have their 3 all-stars in Chet, Jalen Williams, and SGA. So they're just trying to find guys that better complement them. And let's say this, Alex Caruso definitely complements them better than Giddey, because Josh Giddey would be left wide open in the corners and the wings. Like, defenses just would sag off of him, and they would double SGA or double Jalen Williams. Now you can't do that. Alex Caruso shot 40% from beyond the arc last year. You just can't fall off of him. But you're also getting a top 5 defender in the NBA. Like, if you had to rank, in my opinion, defenders in the NBA and just went pound for pound, doesn't matter about position. I go Bam 1, Victor Wembanyama 2, Alex Caruso 3, Rudy Gobert 4, Giannis 5. Like, that'd be my top 5. It really would. Maybe you guys will disagree with me there. Probably many of you will disagree with me. But I always think Bam's the best because he's so versatile, and it's no surprise that the Heat have always had a top 5, top 10 defense with him there. I just don't think Gobert is as impactful as people try to make him out to be. I think he's the worst 4-time T-Boy to ever exist. And then I like Giannis, I like Caruso, and then I like Wemby as well. So, yeah. We'll see how Giddey plays at Chicago. I'll be fascinated to see what other moves the Bulls make. That tweet from Woj that they want to replace Lonzo Ball. Is Lonzo on the outs? Like, he's said he's going to try to return. He said he expects to return for the regular season. Does Lonzo get his salary shed? Wonder. He's getting paid $20 million. It's fascinating. Fascinating. Zachary's a top 5 guard defender. I think he's a top 5 defender, period. I mean, Alex Caruso, let me see here, finished on the all-defensive team, first team last year, and then on the second team this year. So he's been a top 10 defender no matter what. He was 10th in DPOY voting this past year. See, Zachary says you're missing Drew in the top 5. See, that's recency bias. It is. Drew Holiday is a good defender, an above-average, borderline great defender. But let's not act like just a year ago Jimmy Butler didn't give him 35 in the first round when it was Heat Bucks and the Heat beat the Bucks in 5 games. Like, let's put the brakes on the recency bias. Drew Holiday's a really good defender. Top 5, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because if he is a top 5 defender in the NBA, then what does that make Jimmy giving him 35 a game? Just throwing that out there. All right, let's get into it now. Mock Draft 6.0. White Gutman coming at you. Welcome to the NBA Now by Chat Sports. I am Nic Rohloff. Mock Draft 6.0. We are under a week away from the NBA Draft getting underway in Brooklyn, and I have a full 2-round mock draft, 58 picks on today's show. So let's get into it with a stunner at number 1. Yes, you heard me correctly. Donovan Clingan, the center from UConn, going first overall. Reports are that Alex Sarr can't get into the building for Atlanta, and I think there is a realistic expectation that Sarr is no longer the top guy in this draft, and Quinn Snyder really likes Clingan, compares him to Rudy Gobert, who he coached in Utah. I think Clingan has a really good chance to go number 1, and I would place my money on him to be the top selection if we get here on Wednesday. Alex Sarr then does fall to the Wizards at number 2, and I think Washington would be ecstatic with this. The Wizards have no front court pieces around Kyle Kuzma. They do not have – they traded away Daniel Gafford. They need to replace the center position. I think Alex Sarr would be a good fit. If the Rockets do keep this pick, I see them going with Reed Sheppard, the guard from Kentucky. He can do it all. He can shoot the 3. He can defend. He can play make. He can ball handle. He averaged 2.5 steals a game last year. Shot 50% from 3. Like, he's a really good all-around player that fits Amen Thompson, Jalen Green really well, and it would be a great pick for Houston if they end up keeping this 3rd pick. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel because we are going to be live for both days of the NBA Draft. First time they've gone 2 separate days, 1 round on Wednesday, 2nd round on Thursday. Subscribe and turn notifications on so you don't miss a thing when we go live, because I'll be there with Harrison Graham and the rest of the Chat Sports crew breaking it down. The Spurs have 2 first-round picks, and we're going Zachary Risacher with the first one at 4th overall. A Frenchman to pair up with Wemby in the front court. Risacher is really good at being a connecting piece, can shoot it off the catch really well, played well in his final EuroLeague postseason stretch. I think he's a good player. I don't get the top 2 pick buzz, but would fit really nicely as the power forward next to Victor Wembanyama. Matas Buzelis goes number 5 to the Detroit Pistons, one of the most common mock draft picks here, and I'm going to continue the trend because he is just an excellent piece to pair with Ausar Thompson and Jalen Duren in that front court. I think Buzelis is going to be able to improve his shooting. The form is there. You get him working with Fred Vincent, and he could be an elite 4 in the NBA. Stephon Castle, the guard from UConn, pairs up with LaMelo Ball here at number 6. A common mock draft pick for me. I just think Castle would work really well next to LaMelo Ball. He can defend, he can play make, he can work really well doing the little things, but also having the ball in his hands. I like this fit for the Castle and the Hornets. Dalton Connect, one of the better shooters in this draft, heading to Portland at number 7. I think this is his floor, if I'm going to be honest. Unless, some crazy shit happens, I don't think Connect falls out of the top 7. Averaged 20 points a game for Tennessee, shot 40% from 3. I love his game and will fit nicely next to Simons, Simmons, and Shaedon Sharpe. Nikola Topic. He is my second overall player in this draft. My big board, he's number 2. Partially torn ACL might cause him to slip here, but he's the best playmaker and passer in this draft. And I just think him being 6'5", 6'6", running the pick and roll with Victor Wembanyama for the long term could be absolutely deadly. Might not be able to play until halfway through this season, but I'd take the flyer if I'm San Antonio, especially since I have 2 picks in the top 10. Rob Dillingham at number 9 is the perfect player to be a backup in Memphis, who they need more scoring punch off the bench. They have Ja, they have Desmond Bane, they have Jaren Jackson Jr., but the bench is lacking. Rob Dillingham slots in as a 6-man, 10 to 15 point per game scorer year 1. Smooth ball handler, good shooter. I like Dillingham in Memphis. Cody Williams rounds out our top 10, the forward from Colorado. Younger brother of the Thunder's wing, Jalen Williams, who has been fantastic. Cody also has good size like his brother, can shoot the 3 ball, defended at a really high rate for the Buffaloes last season, often taking the top assignment on the perimeter for the Colorado team. I think Cody is a good piece for the Jazz as they start building around Keontae George and Lauri Markkanen. 10 names down, but let me know who is your favorite NBA draft prospect. I labeled Dalton Connect as someone I like. I like Buzelis. I like Nikola Topic as well. Let me know your favorite NBA draft prospect down below. The Bulls, who just traded Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey, draft Devin Carter, the guard/forward from Providence, who honestly can remind me a lot of Alex Caruso. Not as good as a defender as Caruso is, but lengthy. He's 6'2" with a 6'8" wingspan, averaged 8 rebounds in the Big East for the Friars last season. I think Carter could fill that role for Caruso, one of the better high-floor players in this draft. Tajon Salon, the forward from France out of Cholet, heads to the Thunder, who also just made a trade, so 12-11. No picks were traded between the two teams, so they're still picking here as of now. And Salon would be a long-term play, might not be able to contribute to the Thunder right now, but if they're continuing to build a long-term, sustaining potential dynasty in the Western Conference, Salon could help that in 1 to 2 seasons, get him 1 year of playing some little minutes behind that starting lineup for OKC, and they could really take off. The Kings go with Jared McCain, who could be the Malik Monk replacement. Monk's likely to leave in free agency. McCain's not going to be the high-volume scorer like Monk, but someone who can defend, can shoot the 3 ball, really good shot form, shot at over 50 or 40% at Duke a year ago. Really quick release, too. McCain is a good fit in Sacramento. Ron Holland, rounding out the lottery, heading to the Portland Trailblazers. He could go from anywhere from the top 5 to maybe even 20, if we're going to be honest. Holland has a big-time range of where he can go, but he is no doubt one of the better defenders. He's athletic, moves his feet, gets his hands in the passing lane. Ron Holland is very, very good. The only issue is he cannot shoot the basketball. So almost just like Josh Giddey, who we talked about a little bit earlier, well, is he going to be able to play down the stretch because he can't space the floor? 15, Kel'el Ware, the center from Indiana, going to Miami. The Heat need more depth at the center position. They also need more size around Bam Adebayo and backing him up. They have never had a good backup center. Ware can do that. 7 feet tall, good wingspan, shot 41% from 3 at Indiana on 1.5 attempts a game. Ware, been comped to Miles Turner and Brook Lopez, could be a good center to help Bam Adebayo. Tristan Da Silva at 16 for the 76ers. Report out there just a couple days ago that Da Silva is likely going to go between 15 and 19. A lot of interest there. He's a do-it-all type player that can have a year-one impact like Jaime Jaquez Jr. did for the Miami Heat, and it makes sense for a team like Philly trying to win now. The Lakers, they want a center apparently to help Anthony Davis, move him to the 4 or back him up. Yves Missi out of Baylor can be that guy. Athletic, rim protects, runs up and down the floor at an exceptionally quick rate and is able to be a lob threat. Missi also showcased some isolation setting and ability to score off the dribble when given the ball in the high post at the free throw line a little bit. I think he's a good fit for the Lakers. Carlton, a.k.a. Bub Carrington, the guard from Pitt, going to Orlando. Magic need guard help and scoring in the backcourt. Carrington reminds me a little bit of Darius Garland, the way he's fluid and with his handle, getting to the mid-range and his jump shot, which is so damn good from 15 to about 18 feet. Carrington would be a nice addition to the Magic. Raptors go high upside here at 19, in my opinion, with Keyshawn George. They've been one of the teams linked to Zach Edey, but I have them going the forward, who is an exceptional three-point shooter, long arms, long legs, very, very lengthy. He's not someone that's going to contribute at a high level right away, but the Raptors aren't trying to compete, so it helps them kind of take a long-term focus with Grady Dick and Scotty Barnes leading the way. Kyle Filipowski going to Cleveland here at 20. They just need more size. Jared Allen, is he going to stay? Is he going to go? But they still need bench help. Tristan Thompson is just not it at center off the bench. They get Filipowski, who's very versatile on the offensive side of the floor, can space it, can handle it, can pass it. I like Filipowski quite a bit. I think it would be a great fit in Cleveland. Another center, Zach Edey, the big man from Purdue, heading to the New Orleans Pelicans. Jonas Valanciunas is a free agent. Very likely he doesn't return. They need to add some size in that front court if that's the case. Edey, the two-time Wooden Player of the Year and Naismith Player of the Year and Big Ten Player of the Year, who's just been dominant at the collegiate level, finds a home in NOLA. Make sure you subscribe. We told you off the top that we're going to be live. Well, just continue to be the most up-to-date NBA fan with us here at NBA Now at Chat Sports. News, rumors on the draft leading up to the big day in about 4 days. So hit that sub button and stay locked in. Tyler Kolek from Marquette heading to Phoenix. There's a lot of buzz marrying these two guys together, and Kolek could be someone who contributes day one as a cerebral playmaking point guard. Makes a lot of sense for a team that needs to add cheap talent like Phoenix. Isaiah Collier heading to Milwaukee here at 23. Talented guard, bulldog mentality. I like to compare him to a pit bull, the way he's built, because he's just short, stocky, strong, takes it to the rack with physicality and can finish through contact. Also a great playmaker. Needs to develop a three-point shot, but getting to learn behind Damian Lillard would be very ideal for him and Milwaukee long-term. 2 picks here for New York. We'll flash both Tyler Smith out of the G League Ignite and Jalen Tyson from California. If they don't trade these 2 picks in a package, I like this haul for New York. You get a lengthy forward in Tyler Smith who can play the 4, can learn to play defense, or he's a good defender already, but develop more of an offensive game. And Jalen Tyson, who reminds me a little bit of Caleb Martin, could be a good connecting piece for New York as well off the bench. Big fan of these 2 picks for New York. Johnny Furphy going to the Wizards at 26. One of the more high upside guy, younger prospect, originally from Australia. Played really well at Kansas a year ago. Good-looking three-point shot. High upside type player, and I think he is someone that can develop with a more reserved and long-term approach that Washington is currently having. At 27, the Minnesota Timberwolves take Jacoby Walter, the guard from Baylor. I like his long-term potential to be a 3-and-D 2 guard. I think that fits really well early on in his career off the bench for Minnesota, but ultimately can take over as the backcourt partner to Anthony Edwards when Edwards continues to improve his playmaking games. Walter, 5-star in high school, was very good for Baylor last year. Deron Holmes, the center from Dayton, heading to the Denver Nuggets. There's rumors out there that Holmes received a promise from a team in the first round. I think that team is Denver. It'd make a lot of sense for the Nuggets to scoop him up because Holmes can play make, he can defend, and I think he could back up Jokic pretty well. The question is he going to be able to guard 5s at an efficient rate in the NBA as he's like a 6'8" and 3/4 in terms of height. Bakomi Dadiet heading to the Jazz at 29. High upside wing from France who has a smooth three-point shot on him. I don't think he's going to be ready to compete and play in an NBA rotation for another 2 to 3 seasons. So to me, a Jazz team that has time to wait, but in the next couple of years when Keontae George improves, Lauri Markkanen, you're able to get Bakomi and let him develop in your G League system, that's very ideal if you're asking me. The last pick of the first round, Baylor Shireman, the guard/forward from Creighton, lefty scorer, very, very smooth. He's an excellent player. I'm a fan of his game. He can score at all 3 levels, very similar to Joe Ingles in a type of way. Maybe that's just a lazy lefty comparison, but I like Shireman and what he brings to the table. We're going to get to the second round here, and we're not going to talk about every pick here. We're just going to talk about the some big ones here. Ryan Dunn to Virginia, or out of Virginia, going to the Knicks at 38 is a fun fit. The way he's able to defend. Kevin McCullough going to the Bucks at 33 in this mock draft, a good player from Kansas. And then how about Nikola Topic having a fit in the Timberwolves system? He compared himself to a less athletic Anthony Edwards. Could he be on the same team as the Minnesota Timberwolves star shooting guard? We showcased the first 40 picks of the mock draft. I want to go back to the first 30, though. Did you like your team's pick in the first round? Let me know if you did or didn't, but also let me know what the pick and team was. I want to know what you guys think about my mock draft. All right, 18 more picks to break down here. Couple that stand out to me. Jamal Shead, the guard from Houston, going to Miami at 43. I think that's a good fit for both squads. They get an experienced point guard in Shead, and also is one of their better defenders who can play right away as their 8th, 9th man off the bench. I think that's a great fit for them too. Tristan Newton heading to the Magic at 47 is also a fascinating one. Combo guard, can defend, rebounds at a high rate, could play right away for Orlando. And then the pairing of Enrique Freeman and Jalen Bridges for Indiana at 49 and 50 could be a great two-man pairing for Indiana. Last 8 picks, couple that I want to showcase. I did it. I had to do it. Unfortunately, I did. Bronny James going to the Lakers at 55. I really do believe that he is going to go there, and it just feels like Rich Paul is going to force Bronny to there, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I find that the most likely outcome. And then Cameron Christie, the guard from Minnesota, who I thought should have went back to college, but Christie could be a great fit in Golden State at pick 52 with a lot of upside for the long term. All right, 58 picks down. There's a lot there to digest. But let me know. Grade my mock draft 6.0. 58 picks, 58 players. Let me know. Letter grade down in the comment section. A, B, C, D, or F. Don't be harsh. Let me know. And also give me a follow on Twitter at Nic_Rohloff because I'm talking about the NBA draft on a daily basis. So if you want more content in between our videos and before the draft next Wednesday, follow me at Nic_Rohloff. All right. What'd you say? Okay. Game Boy says, who did the Pistons take? Modest Buzelis at 5. Modest Buzelis at 5 in my mock draft. And then did they have let me make sure, let me see, did they have another second round pick? Can't remember all 58. And then Adem Bana. So the 2 picks for the Pistons in this mock draft, at 5, Modest Buzelis, and then at 53, Adem Bana, the center from UCLA. Wazowski says, who's the Heat take? I had the Heat taking Kel'el Ware from Indiana and Jamal Shead at 43. So Raphael, there's the 2 names there. Raphael said A, by the way. Caden graded at a C. Danny at a B. Noli at an F. You know, they say you don't get a true mock draft until it's an F. But from a pure Heat lens, as Wazowski and Raphael asked, if the Heat came away after the 2 days, taking Kel'el Ware at 15 and Jamal Shead at 43, I think Heat fans should be and would be very happy with that outcome. Would be very happy. We have one more segment to get to on today's show. It is my top 30 big board in the NBA draft. We're just swapping out some producers here real quick before we get going. If you guys want to ask a question on the draft, your team, trade, whatever you want to ask, if you want to get something on screen, send a super chat. Any super chat with some notes in it, we'll answer that question. We'll answer that question. Willie says, I think the Heat should take Harrison Ingram at 43. Harrison Ingram's a good ball player. I like him as well. I think I had him going the pick after Miami in the first round or second round at 44 to the Rockets. That is the correct case. Just win the 2. I think a backup guard like Shead has a better chance of being good long term in Miami. my guess. Billy says the Heat need size. We got him Khalil Ware. Harrison Ingram did not go back to North Carolina. John Edward Kruger, you would be incorrect in that statement. Gavin asked, do you think the Celtics are going to make any trades this offseason? I actually don't. I do not think that. Why would they? Why would they make one of those trades? Their roster, their entire rotation is coming back, so there's no need. There is no need. All right. What'd you say? Yeah, we could do that. Don't feel the need either to go like a full screen, like because we're doing a reveal. No need to like go from me to the full screen. Just keep the full screen graphic on top the entire time. Like this segment here at the bottom. Like I have like a bunch of like it's all full screen graphics. I was like, don't feel the need to like go to like an L3 or something like that. You could just leave the full screen graphic up the whole time, unless we're going like a weigh-in or something like that. Yeah. I'm just saying like because there's like will be times where there's like 6 players in a row full screen. Like just keep it full screen. All right. Last segment that we're going to do here. Ooh, Gary Sanderson with a question. I'm going to answer this real quick. If you want to get answers on screen or questions on screen, super chat. This is the only one that I'll answer. He said pro comp for Stephon Castle. My pro comp for Stephon Castle is kind of like a guard. I don't see him being a forward. This is an aggressive comparison, but I'm a big fan of him, and I think he can grow into this. I compare him similar to DeJounte Murray, the way he can play make as a handler, but also play off ball, can score in the mid-range, score at the rim, catch and shoot guy is there. The length, the defensive potential as well. I like a DeJounte Murray type for Stephon Castle. I do. All right. That being said, though, let's get into our final segment on the show. Welcome into NBA Now by Chat Sports. I am Nic Rohloff. On today's show, final big board. The draft is just 4 days away, and it's time to release my top 30, and there's no going back. No changes are going to be made, so don't you worry. No fraudulent activity here at NBA Now. We're going to make sure we have it all here. Top 30 prospects in this draft. Make sure you follow me over on Twitter, too, by the way, because I'm talking about the NBA draft every single day on Twitter/X, whatever you want to call it. If you want more NBA draft content, I'm the place to find it. Handle is at Nic_Rohloff. If you have any questions, too, you can go shoot them for me. All right, let's get into the big board now. Number 1, I'm going to keep Alex Sarr here at number 1. I just really like his size. I like his defensive versatility. The offense needs to be improved, no doubt about that. But I'm going to trust it, and if he's able to develop a consistent 15-foot jumper, I think he is someone that can be very good. Kind of compare him to a worse but younger Chris Bosh. It's a bold comparison, but I like it. Nikola Topic at number 2, the guard from Serbia. I comp him to Goran Dragic in a way. I really like this comp. I've seen other people do it as well. I know he has a partially torn ACL, but I'm comparing this guy's when he's fully healthy. I don't think the ACL is going to affect him long term because he's not the most explosive athlete to begin with, and he doesn't rely on athleticism and quickness. I like Topic. I think he's the second guy in this class, best playmaker and facilitator. Number 3 is Matas Buzelis, the forward/wing/G League Ignite. Buzelis is one of the best defenders. He's got a great profile athletically. Struggled a little bit with his shot in the G League Ignite, but I think that will improve in the NBA. Someone who can defend, he can score. If he gets that jumper up, I think we got big things coming from Nikola Topic. I compare him to a thin Pascal Siakam. 4, Zachary Rissache, the forward from France out of JL Borg. I like him a lot, and I've seen some people in our live chat, if you're watching this live, talk about Rui Hachimura today. I think Rissache is kind of similar to Rui Hachimura, if I'm going to be honest. He's got really quick shot for him. He's got a really good ability to catch and shoot. Like, the release is crazy. It's like he never even touches his hand. He's got good lateral quickness as well defensively. The three-point shooting is relatively new. Like, I don't know if that's going to be able to hold up long-term because it's been a one-year thing for Risache. But if it is, I think he can be a really good player in the NBA. We went through my top 4, still 26 to go. But who is your number 1 prospect in the draft? Mine, it's Alex Sarr. Let me know if you have a different one down in the comment section. Democracy. You just give me your votes. Number 5 is Stephon Castle, the guard from UConn, who wants to be a point guard. See if he actually is. I think he's better as a combo guard that can play the 1 and 2. 6'5.5", 6'9" wingspan, really good athletic profile. I compare him to DeJounte Murray as a mid-range shooter, scorer, defender, playmaker, can do it all. Reed Sheppard at number 6, the guard from Kentucky, who just is simply good at everything. Can handle the ball, shot it above 50% from 3, averaged 2.5 steals a game, came off the bench. He's a good team player. He just fits any role you can ask him to fit, which is why I compare him to Derek White. Yeah, he was one of the players that had the biggest impact on the Celtics this year. Role players do matter, folks. I think Reed Sheppard is going to be one of the best in the NBA in 5 years. Dalton Knecht at 7 here, the wing from Tennessee. Just an absolute flamethrower. I think he's a Buddy Hield, Corey Kispert type. 6'5", 6'9" wingspan. Also very athletic. Just not a shooter, folks. Is not afraid to take it to the rack and finish on top of you. Really athletic guy. Love his scoring. Averaged 20 a game for the Volunteers a year ago. Donovan Clingan at number 8. There's a realistic possibility he goes number 1 overall in this draft. Really is. I think he's the 8th guy, though, because he doesn't provide a lot offensively. He's Rudy Gobert light, man. I don't love his footwork in the post. He's a good rim threat, or lob threat, I should say. Really a good rim protector, good strength and size combination. Not the best laterally. Question his ability to play in non-drop coverage situations, like Rudy Gobert. There's a lot of similarities between the two. But listen, if you're getting a 4-time depoy, even though I'm not high on him, you're going to be happy with that. Jared McCain at number 9, the guard from Duke. Just unbelievable jump shooter. It's so quick. I said this about Risache, but it's hard to even see the ball touch McCain's hands at times. And it doesn't matter if it's off the catch or dribble for McCain. A little bit undersized, which hurts his ceiling because is he going to be a 1? Is he going to be a 2? But someone that can defend, shoot the 3 ball, Wesley Matthews type. A little bit smaller than him, but I like it. Devin Carter at 10, the guard/wing from Providence, who just is one of the best role players that you'll find out of this draft. Compare him to Josh Hart. Smaller, but same type of build. 6'2", 6'8" wingspan. Plays at 100% full speed at all times. Averaged 8.7 rebounds as a 6'2" guard. Is that not the most Josh Hart thing you would ever see? I like Devin Carter. Cody Williams, a number 11, the wing from Colorado. Younger brother of Jalen Williams from the Oklahoma City Thunder. Really good size. 6'6.5", 7'1" wingspan. He's very, very lengthy, which is something that I like. Also moves his feet extremely well laterally. The one thing with him, needs to add some weight, only 178 pounds. I don't think it's sustainable for someone of his frame. And the volume from his three-point shot 41.5%, does need to go up. He projects as a 3-and-D wing, similar to Taurean Prince, which, listen, Taurean Prince, Lakers fans hate him, but he was pretty good back in his day. Make sure you get the best NBA draft content on YouTube by hitting that sub button. We're going to be the number 1 place to find that, and oh boy, look at my typo. This is on me, folks. Hand up, bad typo on me. That's on me. Make sure you hit that sub button, though. Those won't happen in the future. Number 12, Ron Holland, the wing from the G League Ignite. I like him, man. He's really good. The problem is he's such a bad jump shooter. Shot 24% from 3, had a lot of bad misses, 20-plus air balls / barely hitting the rim. But he can defend, man. I think he's like a Derrick Jones Jr. type. Might be helped off of and be an offensive liability, but will be able to run the floor and be excellent in transition, as well as a wing defender that just causes havoc. Rob Dillingham at 13, the guard from Kentucky. Everything that you watch him do screams stud. Issue: 6'1", 6'3" wingspan, 164 pounds. That just is not sustainable in the NBA. He will be hunted every single possession defensively. People will try to bang him up and be physical with him. And if he's not able to handle that, he could be unplayable, which is why he's either Bones Highland or Lou Williams. He's either going to be a terrific small guard that scores the basketball off the bench like Lou Williams and you can play him, or he's going to be that, but unplayable like Bones Highland, but the upside is there with Dillingham. Khalil Ware, the center from Indiana at 14 here. I compare him to a Miles Turner, Brook Lopez type. The motor is a question. Took some plays off at Oregon and Indiana, but the talent is undeniable. Shot 42.5% from three. Low volume, but very good. 2 blocks a game, 10 rebounds a game, 16 points a game. Oh, excellent athlete as well, excuse me. I like Ware, just if he's got that motor and work ethic, that's the question. Tristan Da Silva here at 15 to round out our top half here. Wing from Colorado, kind of give him a Trevor Ariza type vibe. 6'8", 6'10 wingspan, just an all-around basketball player that can contribute right off the bat with any team that drafts him. He can handle the ball too, acts as a playmaking hub at the top of the key for that Colorado offense. To me, there's like no way Da Silva isn't a average role player in the NBA, which is maybe why he's not going in the top 10, but there's also no reason for him to fall past pick 17 that the Lakers have. Isaiah Collier at 16 here on my big board, the guard from USC, a little higher than others, or for me at least. He's a great driver of the basketball, absolutely ferocious. He's got some stock to him, man. He's 6'2.5" with a 205 poundage. That's just incredible, and he's very muscular. Inconsistent jumper, never put a full season of good shooting together, and throughout his entire career, even dating back to high school. And he's not a good free throw shooter either, which shows like maybe he's not going to improve in that area. 67% at college, like that's concerning. But in terms of his playmaking, dog mentality, and getting to the rim, I do like Collier. Another guard, Carlton Carrington, a.k.a. Bub Carrington, the guard from Pitt. I like him. And to me, he's a tall Kemba Walker because the way he is shifty with the ball in his hands, able to float right into his jump shot, like that's the number one thing when I watched him I was able to take away. When he does his little hesitations and crossovers and between the legs, like it just is so quick to like take that dribble move into a shot, floats right into it. Also able to elevate over defenders in the mid-range because of that 6'8" wingspan he possesses. Very similar to Devin Booker when you watch him get into his mid-range shot. I like Carlton Carrington. I think he's going to go earlier than people think in this draft. Kyle Filipowski at 18, the big from Duke. Just so versatile on the offensive end, man. Can space you out, but also handle the rock a little bit. Decent passer, average 3 assists a game for the Blue Devils. Had an offensive rating of 117.3 for the Blue Devils. Good footwork in the post as well. Just not a good defensive player. He has a negative wingspan. He's 6'11 in height, 6'11 in wingspan. So he is a neutral/negative wingspan, and he's not the most athletically gifted either. Could easily get beaten out of a lot of 50-50 balls on the rebounding end. Kind of compare him to Mo Wagner, which is a decent backup center, but that's all you're probably going to get. Jacoby Walter at 19, the guard from Baylor. I like Walter, man. +6 wingspan, 6'10 at a 6'4 height. It's welcomed in the school of Nic Rohloff because I am a absolute fiend for wingspan. But either way, 57% of his shots last year came from the three-point line. It's not great because, well, he's not very versatile in his offensive game, but he is a good shooter. Missed some clutch free throws in March Madness, which is concerning, but did shoot 79% for the year. 5-star out of Texas when he went to Baylor. Walter's a good prospect. Tajan Salon, the forward from France, who many people believe could be a top 5 player in this draft. I just don't see it. I do think he is good. 6'9", 7'1" wingspan. Just struggled from the three-point land, but the shot is there. Like I do think he can shoot it. Shot 31% last year. He's very raw. Can't really create for himself offensively. And the issue I also have with Salon is like I don't know if the ball handling will ever reach a point where he can create for himself, but will be a good connecting piece defensively and offensively, at least in my opinion. I kind of compare him to an athletic Maxi Kleber of the Dallas Mavericks. We'll see if that pans out. I don't love that comp, but it's what I have now. Johnny Furphy, 21, the wing from Kansas. He has the most aesthetically pleasing jump shot that maybe I have ever seen. There's no wasted movement, really strong base, excellent release point, can space the floor extremely well and puts himself in a great position to cut baseline or backdoor cuts. The issue is not the best laterally moving guy. Gets torched easily by quick wings and guards at the college level. He fouled 3.2 times a game per 36 minutes, which is not great. And I don't think the ball handling ability will ever be there. So to me, he's more of like another role-playing type guy that won't be able to ever create for himself. Looking for a comp for him, Cam Johnson from the Brooklyn Nets. Need those type of guys, three-point shooters that can defend a little bit. Maybe Johnny Furphy's your guy. All right, we're going to still have 9 prospects to get to, but we are having these hats on sale for you right now. Chatsports.com/draft hats. They're on sale. You can get them in Heat, Warriors. You can get them on any team you want. 30 NBA teams, 30 different styles, as well as snapbacks, curved brims, flat brims. Got them all. So make sure you get yours today. Chatsports.com/draft hats. Tyler Smith from the G League Ignite at pick 22. Just unbelievable athlete. You do not want to jump up with him, whether it be on a rebound, whether it be on a drive from Smith. Like, you have a 50% chance of getting absolutely posterized. He didn't have a good shooting showing at the NBA Combine, but shot 36% from 3 in the G League Ignite. I like him long-term, man. Like, he's a good standing reach as well. The only issue I have with him is that for someone who is athletic as long as Tyler Smith is, I would expect his defense to be better. So that's a question. Like, does he take plays off? Does he not give it his all? He'll need to in the NBA, that's for sure. Jalen Tyson at 23, the guard/wing from California. I've just grown on him so much in this draft process, man. I originally had him like a couple weeks ago outside the top 30. I have him at 23 now. I don't love this comp, but I do have Caleb Martin. He did it all for Cal. 19.6 points a game, 7 rebounds, 3.5 assists. Also shot 46.5% from the field. He's a skilled scorer, man. He's very good at playing at his own pace and is a good pick and roll ball handler, getting to the rim, shooting the mid-range, taking a step back 3. He has it at all 3 levels. Turns it over a little bit, though, like Jalen Tyson. Yves Missi at 24, the center from Baylor. The thing that impressed me the most about him is that he could score in isolation settings with the ball in his hands. They'd throw him the ball at the three-point line at the top of the key or just that little high post area and let him take his man off the dribble if he had a mismatch. Also led the Big 12 this year with 63 dunks, so he's a really good lob threat. Also averaged 1.5 blocks a game. I like Missi a lot. I think he could probably go higher than his big board slot here. Kind of a Rashawn Holmes type, if you're asking me. Keyshawn George at 25, the forward from Miami. Very low floor, but a very high ceiling. He's confident with his three-point shot. He's shot it from deep at times and is really good at shooting through a contest. There was many times this season where people would get a hand in his face. It just simply didn't matter. He would put it right over him. And his 6'7", 6'10" wingspan type allows him to do that. He's also a pretty solid playmaker for a really low usage rate. Averaged 2.5 assists a game and only was used 17.6% of the time for Miami. The long term, the upside is visible for George. Tyler Kolek for Marquette here comes at 26. I think he goes higher than this number as well. I compare him to Reggie Jackson in a way where he can play as a starting guard. He can be a lead guard off the bench. Not the biggest guy, not the most athletic guy, but he's just someone who's going to beat you with his IQ. Cerebral player. He's also an excellent finisher of the rim, knows how to stop, start, and throw off the timing of other defenders. Scoop lefty layups are just absolutely money from him. Won Big East Player of the Year in 22-23, so he's an accomplished player at the collegiate level. Expect him to make a difference on a team right away. 4 more players to get to on today's show, but who is your top draft sleeper? Get crazy. Is it someone that we haven't talked about yet? Am I too low on someone? I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section on who your top sleeper is. 27, Deron Holmes, the big man from Dayton. Defensive Player of the Year and Player of the Year at the A10 level last season. Good back to the basket player. Did most of his offensive work on the block. Also expanded his game a little bit. Shot 38.6% from 3 as well. There's something there, man. Took 2.5 3-pointers a game, which is obviously pretty solid in shooting 38%. The only issue I have with him is his undersize. He's 6'9" with a 7-foot wingspan. Wingspan is good, but true center at 6'8 3/4, 6'9", it's not ideal. Is that going to be able to translate, and is his offense going to be able to go to the next level? So what I'm higher on than others in the community of draft world, Ryan Dunn, the wing from Virginia. He just simply is the best defensive player in this class. Simple as that. Like 6'7", 1.5 wingspan, 6'6". He can switch 1 through 4, and I could argue he can defend a 5 at times because he's physical, he's built, he's very strong. He's a chase down block artist. So if you watch his film, he did it a lot. If he's behind you, man, look over your shoulder the entire time because Dunn is coming. Not a good offensive player. We talked about how bad Ron Holland is offensively. Ryan Dunn is 10 times worse than that. Like, there's a chance he's out of the league because of how bad he is offensively. But if he's able to become a below average offensive player, then there's a chance he's an above average playmaker, or excuse me, not playmaker, but role player because of how good he is defensively. Compared to Jared Vanderbilt, if you ask me. Kevin McCullough, 29 here. Intriguing prospect that I am a little higher on. He just does it all. He's an older guy, like, not the best shooter, but he did improve a little bit. Like, the shot form is there. It's hard for me to try to sell you on him because the upside isn't good, but I do think there's a very high floor for him. It's like a Denzel Valentine type, if you ask me. Talk about that comp. Yeah, I went in the weeds for that one, but I do like McCullough. I'm not. That was not the best sales pitch, but I do like him. Last player we'll talk about today, and the last first-round player I have on my board, Baylor Shireman, the wing from Creighton. I compared him to a former Blue Jay, Doug McDermott. Not a good defender whatsoever. What he will provide, elite three-point shooting. He's crafty. He can score at all 3 levels. He's not afraid to mix it up inside either. He began his career at South Dakota State, won Summit League Player of the Year before transferring to Creighton and dominating for a couple seasons. He's also a really good playmaker and a good rebounder. 9 rebounds a game last year. The issue, will he be able to stay on the floor because teams will hunt him relentlessly on the defensive end. All right, that's going to do it for this show. Final big board. If you have any complaints about my big board, go complain over on my Twitter at Nic_Rohloff. Have no issue doing it. Follow me, though, if you're going to do that, because I tweet about the NBA, and we'll have draft news and rumors covered on a daily basis. So give me a follow at Nic_Rohloff. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. We'll give it a couple minutes here if anyone wants a super chat, but if not, we'll sign off and call it a day. Did I miss anything in the NBA world after the Caruso stuff? Doesn't look like it. Wild trade. I thought they were going to get a pick. Doesn't look as I'm scrolling on Twitter here. All right. Yeah, I'm just scrolling. I just saw a hilarious tweet, but. All right, no one's super chatting. That's fine. We're going to sign off. The next time you'll see yours truly live will be next Wednesday for the NBA draft. We'll have videos in between now and then, though, of course, so make sure you are subscribed. If you want more draft content, like I said, follow me at Nic_Rohloff. Ask me any questions, DM me. DMs are open. I'm not afraid to respond. But either way, time to sign off. Crazy day in the NBA. And that's why we're here on NBA Now, breaking it all down. See ya. Peace out.